Where do I even start? Where do I even start? 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, 7 threes, 11 for 20 in only 31.
You could feel it in the air. Tension, arrogance, and the kind of fake confidence that melts under pressure. The WNBA's biggest names had their chance to silence Caitlin Clark, to push her out of the spotlight. But what happened on June 14th? It flipped the league on its head. Clark didn't just return, she detonated. This wasn't a game, it was a reality check. The cheers were louder, the tickets were pricier, and the silence from her critics, deafening. Turns out, when you bet against the phenom, you don't just lose, you make her legend even bigger.
And just like that, she's back. Caitlin Clark drops 35 after her 5-game layoff from injury. It was at a point where she scored 9 points in less than 45 seconds. I mean, crossing the half-point line, one dribble, and just pulling it from the logo. Like, these plays are just...
The Indiana Fever marched into Gainbridge Fieldhouse with one goal in mind: take down the undefeated juggernaut that is the New York Liberty. And at the front of that charge, none other than Caitlin Clark, making her triumphant return after missing 5 straight games. The crowd was electric, the stakes were sky high, and Clark, she was dialed in. This wasn't just a comeback, it was a statement. The most electric star in the game was back, and she wasn't leaving without shaking up the league.
Well, the Indiana Fever, I'm watching it. It just went final, 102-88 over the league undefeated, now defeated, New York Liberty. New York Liberty, Stephanie White did not.
The Liberty came in flaunting their flawless 9-0 record, acting like the league was already theirs. But reality had other plans, and it hit harder than a flagrant foul in crunch time. This wasn't just a matchup on the schedule, this was a reckoning. The Fever had receipts, and they were ready to cash them in. This game wasn't about rankings or records. It was about pride, payback, and proving a point. And by the time the final buzzer sounded, the Liberty weren't just beaten, they were humbled.
The Indiana Fever say, come on, New York. Come on. Somebody's got to give you this first L, and I guess it's going to be us. No Jonquel Jones, but the Indiana Fever handled business. 102-88. We finally hit triple digits thanks to CC22.
Last time these teams clashed, the drama was thicker than Thanksgiving gravy. In the final seconds, Liberty's Natasha Cloud swiped the ball from Caitlin Clark, a move Clark believed was a foul. No whistle, no justice, just a bitter ending that stuck like a splinter under the skin. That no call didn't just fade into the background. It simmered, smoldered, and lit a fire under Clark that only this rematch could extinguish. The memory of that moment burned hotter than a Phoenix sidewalk in July, and Caitlin came into this game ready to settle the score.
And are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Caitlin Clark put on the show, dropped 25 in the first half. Then she was diamonded here, diamonded there. They scored over 100 points first time in the season, and they gave New York Liberty their first L. Take that L, go back to the Hudson River, and go back to New York with that L. You know what I'm saying? And I can't stand Sabrina. I'm going to call her Sabrina I Flop You, because all she does is flop. I can't stand Sabrina Ionescu. She's a flopping machine. I'm glad she's taking that L today. Caitlin Clark, 32 points, 7 for 14 from 3, that's 50%, 8 rebounds, 9 assists. She almost had a double-double, almost close to a triple.
If you are enjoying, please subscribe. Clark had been sidelined for 5 tough games, battling a quad injury while her team struggled, and WNBA ratings nosedived at an alarming rate. The league quickly realized how vital she was when viewership plummeted by 55% without her on the court. It was like a blockbuster franchise trying to carry on without its star. Possible, but nobody really cared. Then came Saturday. Clark didn't just make a return. She stormed back onto the court with the intensity of a fireworks display ignited unexpectedly. Every move she made screamed determination, and her presence was undeniable. It was clear she was on a mission. And that mission had Natasha Cloud's name written all over it in bold, permanent marker. The league's future depended on moments like this.
Caitlin Clark, 9 points in 20 or 38 seconds. Oh my goodness. Came back to back logo threes. For a minute, man, I told the chat, call the cops on Caitlin Clark for logo abuse. Oh my goodness, man, she was killing it.
From the opening tip, the energy in the arena was electric. The Liberties stormed out to an impressive 17-6 lead, showcasing why they were defending champions. They moved the ball smoothly, connected on shots, and played with the confidence of a team that had forgotten what losing felt like. For a moment, it looked like Clark's return might be secondary to the game's overall momentum. But then, with just over 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter, something changed. Clark drove to the basket, converted a three-point play, and in that instant, a fire ignited in her eyes. That moment marked a turning point, a sign that she was here to make a statement and take control of the game.
The Indiana Fever. That is Fever basketball at its finest. Fever ball at its finest. As a team, by the way, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The least turnovers the Fever have had in a game as a team since...
What happened next was pure basketball poetry unfolding in real time. In just 38 seconds, Clark drained 3 straight three-pointers from incredible distances: 33 feet, 27 feet, and 31 feet, each shot swishing through the net with perfect precision. The crowd erupted like Mount Vesuvius erupting, and the game was suddenly tied at 24. It was clear this wasn't just a game anymore. It was Clark making a bold statement. She was showing everyone that her injury hadn't dulled her edge, and she still had plenty of fight left. Shooting from ranges that seemed to require a GPS, every shot fell effortlessly, like leaves falling in autumn. Clark was back, and she was reminding the world of her unstoppable talent and unbreakable spirit.
3 threes in 38 seconds in the first half. Caitlin Clark hit 3 logo bombs, by the way. 3 logo bombs in 38 seconds. This was the Caitlin Clark we all said, oh, she's different. She's sent from outer space. The Caitlin Clark that we saw today was the Caitlin Clark that we were accustomed.
By halftime, Alyssa Clark had already poured in 25 points, including 6 three-pointers, marking her highest scoring half of her professional career. The Fever clung to a 53-50 lead, and an anxious tension grew among the Liberty players, their usual confidence slipping away like shadows at dawn. This wasn't the script they had envisioned for their perfect season. In the third quarter, the Liberty mounted a spirited rally, opening with a 9-0 run that briefly rekindled hope and momentum. Yet Clark and the Fever quickly responded with a relentless 19-0 surge, leaving the Liberty searching for answers and struggling to find their rhythm on offense. Each time New York appeared ready to stage a comeback, Clark had an answer, sinking another clutch 3, or making a key play to extend her team's lead. Her scoring barrage and calm demeanor made her seem unstoppable, as if she possessed an endless bag of tricks. The game became a showcase of Clark's scoring prowess, turning her into the defining force on the court.
For one of the best and most elite performances we have ever seen from Caitlin Clark. Now, I got to remind everybody about this. Caitlin Clark is coming off an injury, bro. What we seen today was greatness. This was similar to the Michael Jordan flu game. I mean, it's up there type deal, bro. Caitlin Clark just handed the New York Liberty the ass whooping of a lifetime. And what's crazy about all of this is that the referees couldn't even save them. See, last time the referees was able to save New York and they walked away with the victory. The game was so far out of reach, the referees had to just...
Throughout it all, Natasha Cloud was there, trying to contain the unstoppable force that was Clark. A task as futile as shielding oneself with an umbrella in a hurricane. The irony was rich. The same Cloud who had previously thwarted Clark's hopes was now helpless as Clark systematically dismantled the Liberty's perfect record. When the final buzzer sounded, the scoreboard read 102-88, with Clark finishing an impressive 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, and 7 three-pointers, tying her career high for threes made. Yet the numbers only told part of the story. This game was about more than stats. It was about making a statement, settling scores, and sending a powerful message. The Fever set a franchise record with 17 three-pointers on nearly 50% shooting from beyond the arc. They reached triple digits for the first time this season and handed the previously undefeated Liberty their first loss. Most importantly, Clark led the charge like a commanding general, rallying her team and guiding them into battle with relentless determination and skill. It was a performance that would be remembered long after the final whistle.
Off. I'm glad that New York got that L. They should have got the L the other game. Now they just got what they deserve. Okay, but Caitlin Clark went off. I'm happy. That is what people pay to see. Do you see the difference when Caitlin Clark is on the floor? She makes the whole offense way better. The offense is better. They're clicking. They're getting to their spots.
For the Liberty, this defeat was more than just a loss on the standings. It served as a humbling wake-up call wrapped in reality. Sabrina Ionescu fought valiantly, pouring in 34 points, while Brianna Stewart chipped in with 24, but neither could stop the relentless storm that was Caitlin Clark. Clark's unstoppable performance had swept through Indianapolis, leaving the Liberty's perfect record in ruins and their confidence visibly shaken. They had entered the game as the last undefeated team in the WNBA, but they exited with their flawless streak shattered and doubts creeping in. Now, let's address the elephant, or should I say, the point guard, on the court. Natasha Cloud, once so confident in her defensive skills, found herself on the receiving end of one of the most commanding individual displays in recent league history. The basketball gods, with their twisted sense of humor, seemed to have designated this night for Clark's redemption. Her dominance not only changed the game, but also served as a stark reminder of her rising star power, marking a defining moment in the season.
Natasha Cloud's Linsanity run is over. As I said, her player of the week, the player of the week curse, we saw it happen to Kelsey Mitchell as well till the end of that game where she was so clutch. But her Linsanity runs over. I got a DM from somebody going, Natasha Cloud's great. What are you talking about her Linsanity run? I'm like, was there a Linsanity run? I was like, she can play defense. She's not a great offensive player. Forget the referees. This was apparently a foul. This was apparently a foul on Lexi Hull. And there were so many of them throughout the game. Brianna Stewart shot 14 free throws. Stewie shot 14. Half of them
The beauty of sports lies in their ability to craft compelling stories. And this game was a perfect example. Here was Clark, coming back from injury with a point to prove, facing off against the very player who had previously denied her a potential game-winning shot. Not only did she make her statement, but she did so in the most impressive fashion, outplaying everyone on the court and guiding her team to a victory over the league's top contender. The impact of this game reaches far beyond the final scoreboard. Clark's return has reignited excitement around the WNBA in ways that league executives could only dream of. Social media lit up with highlights, and ticket prices for upcoming Fever games soared by as much as 366%. Suddenly, women's basketball was center stage again, capturing the attention of fans and media alike. The league, which had seen its ratings decline during Clark's absence, was reminded why she's considered the most popular athlete in America, a title even the WNBA commissioner has publicly acknowledged. This game was more than just a win. It was a resurgence for women's basketball, driven by Clark's extraordinary performance.
This is what people pay to see, guys. That's why the TV ratings are high when she's on TV. She's fun to watch. Girls balling out, back-to-back threes from the logos, man. She was going off tonight. And I was so glad that she's out there having fun, bro. Like, she was going off, bro.
This game perfectly exemplifies Clark's profound influence on women's basketball. When she's healthy and in action, the WNBA transforms into must-watch television. Arenas fill up, ratings climb, and casual fans quickly become passionate supporters. Clark's impact goes far beyond the box score. During her injury absence, nationally televised Fever games averaged only 847,000 viewers, down 53% from her pre-injury average of 1.8 million. Her return against the Liberty drew 2.7 million viewers on ABC, ranking as the third most watched WNBA game of the season. This isn't coincidental, it's a clear pattern. The Clark effect has propelled the Fever to become the first WNBA team with over 1 million social media followers, and their merchandise sales surged so dramatically that the team store faced an audit for suspicious revenue spikes. Ticket prices for her games often exceed $600.00, and her presence has contributed an estimated $36,500,000.00 to Indianapolis's economy in 2024 alone, underscoring her transformative power on the sport.
The word undeniable exists for a reason, and it applies to Caitlin Clark. She is just absolutely undeniable, and her return to the Indiana Fever showed it once again. It felt like a jolt of energy to the WNBA, obviously to the Indiana Fever, who looked like a completely different team, as Caitlin Clark put on a show that only she can in leading the team to a win over the New York Liberty, the first L for the Liberty on the...
When Clark takes the court, the WNBA becomes more than just a league. It turns into a cultural phenomenon. Her absence had highlighted how much the league depends on her star power, and her triumphant return was like the sun breaking through storm clouds. Clark's appeal combines old-school grit with modern flair. Her signature three-pointers and no-look passes appeal to highlight real enthusiasts, while her fierce competitiveness, evidenced by her fiery reaction to Cloud's physical defense, resonates with traditional fans. This combination has built a diverse fan base that spans generations. Families fill arenas just to see her play, and Gen Z viewers flood platforms like TikTok, where WNBA posts see engagement rates 16 times higher than NBA content. The Liberty game exemplified this, with courtside tickets reselling for $2,500.00, and arena noise reaching 116 decibels during her introductions, louder than most NFL stadiums. Clark isn't just drawing crowds, she's fostering a movement, elevating women's basketball to new cultural heights.
It was at a point where she pulled from the logo, and her and Stewart were just laughing because it was just that unbelievable. I told y'all, face of the league.
For Natasha Cloud and the Liberty, this loss will sting for a while. They had been perfect, riding high on their championship pedigree and defensive excellence, but Clark reminded them that perfection is fragile, that even the best-laid plans can crumble when faced with generational talent having the game of her life. The beauty of this revenge story lies not just in the outcome, but in how it unfolded. Clark didn't just beat the Liberty, she dominated them with the very skills that make her special. Her three-point shooting, her court vision, her ability to take over games when it matters most, all of it was on full display against the team that thought they had her figured out.
And much to the credit of Caitlin Clark, this team won a massive.
As the dust settles on this extraordinary performance, one thing is clear. Caitlin Clark's return to the WNBA is more than just a win for the Indiana Fever. It's a boost for the entire league. Her resurgence serves as a powerful reminder of what makes sports so compelling, and showcases why they say the best revenge is living well and hitting clutch three-pointers. The Liberty's perfect season has ended. Natasha Cloud learned that karma has a jump shot, and Clark proved why she's the most electrifying player in women's basketball. The Queen has reclaimed her throne, and she shows no signs of relinquishing it anytime soon. Clark's influence continues to ignite excitement and elevate the sport, reaffirming her status as a game changer and a true superstar in women's sports. If you enjoyed leaving a like and subscribing, more videos are on the screen now.